A major snowstorm is likely on the way for areas of the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast over the next few days, and we've had big-time model changes over the last 24 hours or so that does nothing but increase our confidence that this is actually going to happen. So we'll cover the mid-Atlantic first, and then we'll cover the Northeast, and we'll get very, very detailed on both. We'll have a very small segment for the Southern Alps too, and Atlantic Canada, and we're going to just show you all the model runs, all the snowfall graphics. We'll talk about winds, things like that. And we'll have a very small segment at the end of the video where we'll just talk about the energy associated with this system, why it's changed, and all that nerding out stuff. My name is Mitch. Good Friday evening. Hope you guys are doing well. Subscribe if you haven't. Like the video if you like it. And if anybody has anything I can pray about or pray over, please put it in the comments below. Let's get rocking and rolling tonight. So let's start off in the mid-Atlantic, and we're going to go over a few model runs. We're going to start it off with Saturday evening. So tomorrow night, here in the next 24 hours, this thing is right out ahead of us. It's pretty wild, but here we are. So there's not a whole lot going on for the mid-Atlantic. You know, you got West Virginia, you got Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, Southern PA, and surrounding states on this map. But as we begin to move into our Sunday morning on the GFS, it continues to be quite aggressive that we're going to have heavy snow right off the dot for our Sunday morning across areas of northern, even central VA, West Virginia, up into Maryland. You start to get some snow. In fact, it really just starts out as snow in the DC, Baltimore area on the GFS. I'm not sure if that's going to be the way it happens. I think we could start off with some rain. But let's continue to move forward as we make our way into Sunday midday or early afternoon. If you're confused on the time frame, you can look over here. This is an Eastern time, and up here also, but the actual timestamp for the actual, hour time of the day is right over here. But I'll try to mention it as we go. But you got a low pressure developing off the coast of Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina. And we got very heavy snow where it's cold enough for it. I mean, these darker blues, this is very, very heavy, wet snow. And the snow is definitely going to be wet. Not a super cold system, but the cold air moving in aloft into the moisture supports either snow or a cold rain, depending on where you are. But as we continue to move into our Sunday afternoon, into our Sunday evening, this thing is still spinning away. It's a 989 millibar low. You can see the low pressure here. And we continue to have intense bandings, a banding feature of snow making its way across Maryland, Delaware, southern New Jersey. We'll cover more of New Jersey here in a second when we switch to the Northeast timestamp. But look at the rain switching to snow as far south as northern areas of North Carolina. It's snowing for most of Virginia. It's snowing heavily in the higher elevations of West Virginia, snowing all the way up into the Allegheny Mountains, snowing all the way down into the Southern Alps. And then we make our way into Sunday night. And then this is like right in the middle. This is like midnight Sunday night to Monday morning. And we got this intense back end band of snow. And if this is the way it plays out, this will be an all-out blizzard across the Tidewater, the Delmarva. And then it finally begins to pull out. But still, Monday morning, we're still dealing with a band of snow over areas of coastal Maryland, Delaware, Baltimore, up into Philadelphia. And then it finally tapers off, but we continue to deal with this kind of back edge snow in West Virginia, higher elevations, northwest flow type stuff. So that's the GFS. What about the Euro? Remember, the GFS has been consistent that this is going to be one of those blockbuster storms. I don't think it's going to be as aggressive as what the GFS is showing, but I'm going to tell you this. Almost all other model runs have trended at least to a GFS-like scenario. It might be a major win for the GFS model, and it's a model that we clown on a lot. We call it the drunk uncle of models. But listen, it might be leading the charge with this, which is pretty wild. The Euro, same thing. Tomorrow evening, not a whole lot going on. We got a full 24 to 36 hours to really prepare for this event. And by the way, we already have winter storm watches up for areas in the mid-Atlantic. But as we're making our way into Sunday morning, it's more splotchy with the rain-snow mix. It starts off as that rain-snow mix across the DC, the Baltimore, Philadelphia corridor. Point south could be all rain. And then the system really gets going. We start to get into Sunday morning, but Sunday afternoon, but you can already tell it's not quite as crazy as the GFS. Like, this is the GFS for Sunday morning. All right, here's comparing it. This is, Sunday afternoon. I keep saying Sunday morning. This is Sunday afternoon on the GFS. This is Sunday afternoon on the Euro. So the moisture is kind of in the same spot, but it's not as intense. Therefore, the dynamic cooling, the evaporative cooling isn't occurring, really cooling down the temperatures all the way down to the surface. But as we continue to move into Sunday night, you get what we call an inverted trough, and it's just this enhanced area of moisture, and this is cold enough for snow. And regardless if we have this deep low pressure really close to the mid-Atlantic, I think that this is going to deliver 6-inch plus snowfall totals and some very gusty winds regardless. And this is going right across Washington, D.C., Baltimore. It's snowing in Philadelphia, everybody in between. I'm going to forget to mention names, guys. It gets snow all the way down to northeast North Carolina, Richmond, everybody in between, all the way down to Hampton Roads area. And in fact, it gets this really intense band of snow late Sunday night. I mean, all the way down into Hampton Roads, southern areas of Maryland. That dark blue, that's very heavy snow. And then Monday morning begins to wrap up. We're left with leftover snow flurries, snow showers, and even some moderate snow in West Virginia and surrounding states. So we could be dealing with that well into early next week. Now, the NAM, I will show it to you just for giggles here, but it follows more of that GFS scenario. Sunday morning, already have some very heavy snow moving into Virginia, just the mid-Atlantic states in general. And then this thing really cranks up, turns into an all-out blizzard in the Tidewater. As you can tell, this is very, very heavy snow. Even gets some area of moderate snow all the way down to northeast North Carolina. And, I mean, it begins to max out the color scale here in blue. And this is just ridiculously heavy snow. I mean, it's just nuking the Tidewater and areas of the Delmarva, Maryland, Delaware, everybody in between, just with a ton of heavy snow. I mean, the snowfall totals in the NAM is probably quite ridiculous. I'm not even going to pull them up. But one thing you note here is it continues to keep the moderate to heavy snow in West Virginia all the way through Monday night and a Tuesday morning there. Now, what about the snowfall totals on the GFS? And I'll show it to you. Still wants to show, 8 to 12 inches of snow across northern VA, central Maryland. D.C. delivers a foot of snow. Baltimore, even more, foot and a half. Delivers a swath of 6 to as much as 15 inches of snow all the way up into the Allegheny Mountains of PA, western Maryland, higher elevations of West Virginia. And he even delivers a lot of heavy snow down to the mountains of North Carolina, Virginia, and Tennessee. But then it bullseyes this area right here, the same area that the NAM does. And I mean, this could be a jackpot area right here, and just like I said, the Tidewater, the Delmarva, the coastal waterways here of Maryland wants to drop 2 to 3 feet of snow on you guys. Just absolutely crazy. But listen, you tip your cap to the GFS because it has just been ridiculously consistent with this scenario. You keep thinking it's going to eventually back off, but it isn't. And if you look at the Euro, it keeps showing this sort of back edge, inverted trough, enhanced area of snow right here. And it keeps getting stronger with this too. And one thing that you're noting also here that you can see is it's really backing up the coastal low enhancement here, more so into Delaware, into Maryland now. But I mean, it wants to drop at least a half a foot of snow on DC, Baltimore, up into areas like, I'm brain farting here, Gettysburg, everybody in between. Winchester, I believe, delivers a few inches of snow, but it even tries to bring 3 to 4 inches of snow all the way down to the Virginia Beach, Norfolk area, even a couple inches of snow into northeast North Carolina. But this purple kind of pinkish area, that's over a half a foot of snow showing up. Delaware gets hit hard too with 5 to 8 to 9 inch snowfall totals. Now, we are in range of some of these National Weather Service graphics. This is some of their first calls, so this is going to tweak a lot over the next 36 hours, but we've ran out of time. I mean, they're kind of forced. Their hands are tied. They're kind of forced to make some graphics because the system's right ahead of us. So this is West Virginia going for 6 to 10 inches of snow and snowshoe. Elkins 4 to 11. Some wide varieties here, but this is only out to 7 p.m. Monday, guys. It's still snowing in these areas. We have winter storm watches up for areas of West Virginia. Beckley 3 to 7, but you're going to get more snow after this also. And then we take a look at northern areas of VA. Right now, they're going for around 2 inches of snow in D.C., but this is a tough area. Northern VA, areas of Maryland, tough area. You could get slammed. You could only get what they're saying here. D.C. going for 2 inches of snow. Baltimore, it's the National Weather Service forecast, by the way. 4 inches. Bel Air, 5. Westminster, that was the name I was trying to think of. 5 inches of snow. Frederick, 4 inches. And I'm telling you, this area, Annapolis, Easton, you guys could get a lot more than what this is showing. We'll just leave it at that. Dover, 6 inches of snow. And we will show you down in southeast VA, going for about an inch in Richmond. But I'm telling you, there could be a corridor right in here that could overachieve with that inverted trough, like what the Euro is showing. You guys could overachieve in this area. You know, Salisbury, 5 inches of snow, Cambridge 4, but these areas could get a lot more. And then we take it up into, you know, eastern PA. And we'll show you another graphic of this region too. New Jersey. And right now, Toms River, you're going for 10 inches, Long Branch, Jersey Shore, 6 to 12 inches of snow, but this area could get much more. I believe the higher end of this is like 1.5 feet of snow, maybe 20 inches. Philadelphia 4, Trenton 7. You know, and this is Delaware, Milford 6, Middletown, Dover 6 inches, 1/2 foot of snow, but we could get more. So we got to watch eastern PA too. And talking about winds, you know, this is something we're trying to figure out in this area. How close is the coastal low going to pop up? We're going to get strong gusty winds regardless in the West Virginia mountains, Maryland, Virginia, you know, 20, 30, 40, 50 mile per hour winds are possible. But you can see how you have these stronger winds closer to Delaware, Maryland. And, you know, you look at something like the GFS. Of course, it's much more aggressive. Brings to 50, 40 mile per hour wind gusts in Delaware, Maryland, things like that. So we're still trying to figure out the winds a little bit, which is sad because it's saying it's right out in front of us. Now the Northeast, what do we got here? New England. We'll start off with the GFS. This is around 10 a.m. time frame over here, Sunday. GFS, as we know, has continued to be consistently aggressive. So we start to make it into a Sunday afternoon, and the snow is very heavy down in New Jersey. It's starting to move into New York City, Long Island, and then we make our way into Sunday night. This is 9, 10, 11 o'clock, and if the GFS is correct, we got a blizzard potentially starting to move into Long Island, very heavy snow across New Jersey, eastern areas of PA, southern areas of New York. And then we start to get into 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, Monday morning, and a blizzard, as we have a 972 low developing here, begins to crank up along the southern coastline of New England, Long Island, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Mass here, and then we get into about mid-morning Monday. And if this is what happens, this is an all-out blizzard for eastern areas of Mass, Boston. Look at this area of that very dark blue, almost purplish color you're seeing here. This is extremely heavy snow, wind-whipped snow. And as we're starting to get into Monday afternoon, maybe it begins to calm down Monday evening, and we'll get a band of heavy snow even up against the just Mass, New Hampshire, and Maine coastline. And this could be a big-time event for Southeast Mass, Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket, and everybody in between. And then it heads on off to Atlantic Canada. Now, then we look at the Euro. Mid-morning Sunday morning has just light, moderate snow moving into pretty much all of the Northeast. And then there's kind of a lull here. And then the main system pops off dramatically. And this is Monday morning. We got a 974 low down here. This would bring a lot of dynamics into this setup. This is moderate to heavy, wind-driven wet snow from New Jersey, Long Island, Connecticut, Mass, Rhode Island, all the way up into Albany. And then this system really, really gets going. Not as crazy as the GFS, but it's getting crazy like the GFS, I would say. But Southeast Mass, just look at that heavy snow, 973 low, and it comes up and it brings a swath of heavy snow even into areas of the down east areas of Maine, coastal areas of Maine, and the low pressure gets close enough to Maine to deliver some appreciable snowfall totals. And then by the time we get into Tuesday, we're done with it. Now, what about these snow totals on the GFS? Just huge snow totals. It actually brings, let's just get a little bit closer to some of these areas. I mean, it brings over 2 feet of snow into New Jersey, 1 to 2 feet of snow in New York City. Same thing with Long Island. And then we look at like Boston area. I mean, look at the snow it brings. And let's look at Mass here. And I mean, look at this, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, even in the southern areas of Vermont, New Hampshire. Widespread 1 to 1.5 to 2.5 feet snowfall totals. Just hit hard. This is Maine, not as much, but still, a decent hit. And we got to watch Maine. And then we look at the Euro. Here's a wide look at everything, and let's go on and take a closer look. All right, this is, where are we? New York. It includes New Jersey and surrounding areas. And the Euro is more so what the National Weather Service thinks for this area. But anywhere from 9 to 8 to pretty much 14 inches of snow is widespread across this entire area. New York City, 9, 10 inches of snow. And then we take a look at Mass here. Let's bring this up. Where are we at? Right here. And I really think the Euro has really got the right idea with this. It's just folded. It's hard to really respect what the Euro is showing because it was very stubborn on the conservative scenario, and now it's pushing more towards the GFS. But even the Euro, which was very conservative just 36 hours ago, is delivering a 1.5 feet of snow south of Boston. Boston, about a foot of snow. Hartford, 9 to 12 inches of snow. Providence, over a foot. So it is a big hit, and this is the rest of Maine here. So now if we look at some of these National Weather Service graphics, and this does not clear the entirety of the storm, but this is PA. Tricky state. Further east you get, the more snow you get, but widespread few to several inch snowfall totals, nothing crazy. And this is just a kind of a closer look at New Jersey here. And this is like pinpoint snowfall totals. And this is only between now and 7 p.m. Could be still snowing in these areas. Philadelphia going for, a 1/2 foot of snow. And then you start to get into New Jersey. This is where we can get 6 to 12 inches of snow. And then we look at New York City and Long Island and southern Connecticut here and surrounding areas, going for about 10 to 11 inches of snow in New York City. The further you get out in the eastern areas of Long Island, we could push over a foot of snow. And I expect this to change. But this is going to be a solid snowstorm, but it has higher end potential than this. And it has blizzard potential with this. And this is the rest of New York. This is probably combining some of the snow still falling out there right now. And then this is southern New England. This could be adding in a little bit of snow going on right now too. But right now in Boston, they're going for about 9 inches of snow. But you get down to southeast Mass, Plymouth, a foot. New Bedford, 14 inches. Martha's Vineyard, 12. And Nantucket, 8. Could have some mixing issues the further out you get into the Cape. But this is going to be a big storm for you guys. And the winds could be whipping too. And speaking of the winds, this is a wide look at it. Very strong winds just off the coastline. It's possible max wind gust. Okay, in these red to kind of darkish, like brown areas, this is 60 to 75 mile per hour wind gusts, hurricane force wind gusts. And just taking a closer look at some of these areas, going for a 61 mile per hour wind gust out in the Cape, 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gust, along Long Island. So we got to watch to see how this trends. So that's, the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. I do want to, talk a little bit about the southern apps here, North Carolina, Tennessee mountains. Sunday morning, first off, this is getting into, Sunday morning, rain could switch to snow. We could get a period of snow Sunday morning across the mountains here. And then I think snow just hangs around with us, and we could get a few to several inches of snow. In fact, the National Weather Service in Greenville-Spartanburg is being pretty aggressive with the eastern side of the mountains, which is western North Carolina, talking about a few inches of snow is possible, even in the lower elevated regions in the mountains here. So, this is Sunday. This is getting a Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. This is getting into Sunday night, Monday morning. It's still snowing. Could even get a backside vort piece of energy that I think is being heavily under-modeled as far as what's being showed up to the surface. And I think that this could bring some snow flurries as far south as even outside the mountains in eastern Tennessee. But this is a long-duration northwest flow event that could last well into Tuesday. It could get started Sunday, last a good 48 hours. And this is snowfall just between now and Monday evening. Already going for a few to several inches of snow in the mountains of North Carolina and Tennessee. So certainly could get a pretty substantial event. I'm out of breath. I'm tired, guys. It's past my bedtime. But Atlantic Canada, Nova Scotia, this is Monday morning. This is the Euro. Starts the system off in Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, Cape Breton Island, as some pretty heavy wet snow. But the trend has been for this low pressure to get really close to Nova Scotia. We're going to get some heavy snow Monday night and Tuesday morning across Newfoundland too. And this could bring some strong winds. How big is this system going to be for you guys? I was looking at some of the snowfall totals, some of the winds. They honestly did not look terrifying, I guess. But I still want to cover you guys. But this is Tuesday morning. You can see that low pressure is getting really close to, Nova Scotia. And then we start to get into Tuesday afternoon. Low pressure actually plows right into the Atlantic Canada area. And then it's done. This is the GFS. Same thing, Monday morning, heavy snow into New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, surrounding regions get the snow into Newfoundland late Monday night and a Tuesday morning, but then that low pressure, gets, and it could get fully wrapped in the cold air, but low pressure gets right into Atlantic Canada here and could have some mixing into that. This is snowfall totals just on one run of the Euro. So y'all go off centimeters, but 12 to 24 centimeters of snow, so several inches of snow. And then this is winds. I'm not seeing anything too crazy from this, but I think we really need to watch out for Nova Scotia. This is max kilometers per hour here, so hopefully you can see that pretty well. But as far as the energy with this system, we've been talking about this, but there's a lot of energy. I mean, you got this northern vort here. You got sort of this southern stream energy mixed with this Rockies wave that's already beginning to exit into the plains. I mean, there's just a lot of energy right in here that's trying to combine and then dip down. And if we get this in motion here, see how it all is moving, it's coming in, and then everything begins to dig Sunday morning. And it's digging across the eastern U.S., and then it actually is able to dig enough where it takes on that negative tilt, pops off a strong surface low. Therefore, the dynamics begin to max out, and we get a blizzard, a nor'easter that's possible. And this thing begins to climb up the coastline because it strengthens and gains latitude, gets poleward, and a strong system. But check out this backside vort here. I'm telling you, this is going to get some northwest flow going in the southern Appalachian Mountains. But why has this system been able to dig so much better on the Euro and Euro ensemble? Well, you see the big blue area here with green embedded into it. This is our lower pressure, our lower heights. This is our storm system, our trough digging down. And by the way, bringing some pretty cold air with it too. So we've had a trend of this energy to dig further to the west. So this area in blue is now digging just kind of further this way. Several days ago, like 4, 5, 6 days ago, this was looking like it was going to dig more so over here. I don't know. We've been talking about this for over a week now. I'm not trying to pat my own self on the back here, but, this trough was digging way over here. Now it's digging way over here. Therefore, all the energy is able to dig far enough west to pop off a low pressure closer to the coast. Why is that? Well, that's because you've been able to back this ridge up further to the west. Therefore, our energy has been able to back up further to the west. And if you look at the 5-run trend of this, let's back it up 5 runs. It's going to be hard to see. I'm a weather nerd, so I can see it really good. I'm going to try drawing this. I want you to watch how this blue blob is ticking ever so slightly this way. Okay? In fact, if we just get a little bit closer here, and let's do it again. All right. You see how the blue blob ticks a little bit further to the west, and this kind of more intense area of orange and this ridge is ticking a little bit more to the west too. If you look at this blue blob here, you can see it's trying to exit the screen a little bit. But this energy is basically starting to be, it's able to dig further to the west now due to the fact that this ridge is scooting a little bit to the west. These little small scale ticks in one direction or the other mean everything with what happens to the surface in the form of rain or snow with any kind of energy in the atmosphere. So, I was able to get through that in 25 minutes. I'm tired, guys. God bless all y'all. Have a wonderful night, and we'll wake up and do it all over again. God bless.